Hello, this is Mike Kubisak, and I'm very glad to share with you Price Chopper Secrets and the 5 fatal flaws made with Price Shoppers on the telephone. I hope you get a lot out of this. In working with funeral directors across the country, I've never had a funeral director tell me, "Mike, I didn't get that call, and it was all my fault." Funeral directors make the fatal mistake of blaming others, blaming circumstances, and blaming people for their inability to create what I call is an "I want to hire you" atmosphere. You're blaming the wrong party, and you issue blame instead of taking responsibility. Many funeral directors fail to see the need for more self-improvement and fail to ask for help. Your being on the telephone today means that you are asking for help, and I want to give it to you. So let's go over these 5 fatal flaws together. Fatal flaw number 1. We often give out prices before asking questions or clarifying the situation. I mean, how can we really give prices unless we really know what the situation is? Hearing things like, "I do not want a funeral," or "I want a funeral," or "I want cremation," I don't know if that clarifies the situation enough for you to merely begin giving out prices. Think about when you go to your doctor. Does he begin telling you how great his office is, how excellent his service is, the new equipment that he has? Of course not. He comes right to the point and asks you, his patient, where does it hurt? So I want to encourage you to ask compelling questions, and importantly, to ask questions that your competitor does not ask. Let's look at fatal flaw number 2. Referring negatively to your competitors. Okay, they're the bottom of the totem pole. They're dirtbags. However, I have found in business, every knock against a competitor is actually a boost for that competitor. Degrading another competitor is actually a form of degrading yourself. This is something that you must never do. Let's go to fatal flaw number 3. Tell me, what will it take to get your business? This is a mistake question. Do not say that to someone on the telephone, because the answer always leads to lower price. So you are boxing yourself in. After you give them your price and they say that you are more expensive, respond by saying back to them, "I'd like a minute to tell you why we are the funeral home of choice, because we are not the lowest price." Think about that statement. Are you prepared to explain that statement? And it must be explained in concrete, specific, and measurable terms that relate to the customer, the caller. Let's look at fatal flaw number 4. With this flaw, we assume the caller knows too much, or that the caller knows nothing. More than likely, the caller has some notion about funeral, cremation, cemetery service, or your company. Ask them, what has been your experience in making arrangements so far? If they have called other funeral homes, what has been your experience in calling other funeral homes so far? More than likely they will tell you, and you will be able to come across differently knowing that information. Do not be afraid to ask the caller, How would you describe our service to me? How did you come to call us? How familiar are you with us? Let's go to fatal flaw number 5. With this one, we assume that the caller has already selected a funeral home. You might even think they are calling you just to confirm their decision to use someone else, or will call everyone else to make a comparison. Ask them, where are you now on the decision-making process? Okay, you've called these other places. Where are you now in making a decision? Or what are 3 concerns that you have about choosing a funeral home? Or what are the attributes you seek in your funeral director? This is valuable information that will set you apart from everyone else and give you the clues as to what the caller is looking for. So think about these 5 fatal flaws and ask yourself, honestly ask yourself, do you or your staff make any or all of these fatal flaws? And if you've answered yes, that's okay. Many funeral professionals do. I did too, and so did my staff. But it was important for us to overcome these flaws. And it required work. It required practice. But I can assure you, with a little extra effort and training, and doing things a little bit differently than you are now doing them, you will start to win more price shoppers, and you will turn them into client families. I hope you will go to PriceShopperSecrets.com and register today. I would be honored to have you on board and a part of this exciting program.